He's the winner. Thank you. Bye-bye. And now we present part 2 of the 1991 Royal Rumble sins.
Rod, you look like you've already been in a Rumble!
That might be because Roddy Piper has been in a Royal Rumble match before.
These guys back there got hair on their teeth!
The WWF wrestlers must have turned into cats if they got hair on their teeth. What have we told them about licking themselves? Nobody ever listens.
Both these guys, whoa!
Boy, that didn't take long for me to place in a pre-match assault sin at all. One of these days, I predict that's going to be the first sin of a video.
Holy mackerel!
The referee's telling Tanaka to get out of the ring despite the fact that the bell rang with both members of the Orient Express being present in the ring. How do we know Kato wasn't the legal wrestler here?
Get a beauty!
After seeing Marty Jannetty miss Tanaka completely with a super kick, Shawn Michaels likely told him, on second thought, let me be the guy who uses that move. I can actually make it look good. Won't lie, that was one of the coolest ways I've seen a wrestler accidentally throw himself into his own partner. Marty didn't even try to do that on purpose. That's just how awesome it was. This was actually an epic tag team match to open the Royal Rumble.
Whoa! Fast again, they did!
That was amazing. The Orient Express tries to avoid being thrown into each other again, which Shawn Michaels took advantage of. I love this match.
He's seen more ceilings than Michelangelo.
Wah, wah. Kato was already starting to fall before Shawn Michaels could connect with his moonsault. Could have easily sidestepped to the left, too.
Uh-oh, one double Italian drop!
Absolutely perfect synchronization between the Rockers and the Orient Express. Difficult to find sins in this match. And at this rate, the rest of the card should just call it a night because there's no way they'll be able to contend with this. Let's honestly start over, shall we?
Yes, look it!
Gosh darn it, Marty. You had too much of a head start. You guys were doing so good with the synchronization. Oh well, there's always a sin to find. Marty Jannetty can clearly see Tanaka enter in the ring to stop the count and doesn't once think to prevent that from happening until it's too late.
The rules are easy! There are none!
Well, that's not until the Royal Rumble itself, and even that match has rules, Gorilla. But this is a traditional tag team match. How are there not any rules here? Marty Jannetty is a dick to his own partner by climbing into the ring to complain to the referee, which allows the Orient Express to have extra time to beat down Shawn Michaels. I think I'm starting to see why Shawn eventually turned against Marty. Marty just doesn't know when to stop climbing in the ring at the worst time. Alright, won't lie, that was an awesome strategy on the part of Shawn to leap onto the belt and cause the Orient Express to run into each other. Nice escape. That sunset flip did little to no damage to Tanaka, yet that was somehow enough to put him away and give the win to the Rockers. Good match with a very questionable ending.
What are you doing here tonight?
She's with the Macho King Randy Savage, who's competing in the Royal Rumble match later tonight. What the hell do you think she's doing here? No joke, Sensational Sherry takes up 6 minutes of pay-per-view time trying to seduce the Ultimate Warrior sexually just so he could grant Randy Savage a WWF title match if he beats Sergeant Slaughter tonight. And Warrior just stands around letting this happen for those 6 minutes before he obviously declines the offer.
Barbarian's the kind of guy that can clean up anything!
Well, that means something. But if the Barbarian can clean up anything, he wouldn't have left his coat in the ring when the Big Boss Man came charging in. I'm sorry, Roddy Piper in commentary confuses me sometimes. Also, nearly 2 minutes of the Barbarian debating about whether or not he should enter the ring while Big Boss Man stands around waiting for him. The Barbarian clearly slowed himself down before connecting with the ring post, which caused him to react in an awkward way, like, ouch, that hurts so much I'm moving so slow. It looks cool on a visual, sure, but throwing oneself over the top rope just to throw your opponent over the top rope doesn't exactly hurt your opponent any more than if you flipped him over while remaining in the ring. I'm just saying. Either the Big Boss Man missed the knife edge chop completely, or that was the quietest chop in the history of chops.
Your palms well. Look what's going on. Boss Man's on!
Big Boss Man gets one foot stuck in 2 ropes and then ends up trapping the other one seconds later just to make it look like both were hung up when he flipped out of the ring.
Look out!
That's gotta be embarrassing when Bobby Heenan delivers a kick to Big Boss Man's gut and the latter doesn't even react to it.
Elbow drops by the
The Barbarian is an idiot by pinning Big Boss Man, but making sure he was as close to the ropes as possible.
Ain't no shame! I believe they hit head to head!
Nice try, Gorilla, but neither wrestler got close to hitting each other in the head during this collision. Not looking too good in this match, are we?
Now this is the second time! I think this is a mistake!
Roddy Piper would be great at Cinema Sins 2 expansion, because successfully hitting a move the first time means it'll always get countered the second time. The Barbarian's shoulder came off the canvas several times throughout this pinfall, which the referee completely ignored. 2 matches in a row with questionable endings. Uh-oh.
All right, Ultimate or Warrior.
Ultimate or Warrior. So does that mean he's Ultimate instead of a Warrior or vice versa? Interesting questions to know. Also, Mean Gene Okerlund literally had the Ultimate Warrior on his interview platform about 20 minutes ago. Why didn't he just ask him the questions about his title match then?
I want to make this clear right now, then.
You can make your point clear later, Gorilla. When Howard Finkel's doing ring introductions, you're not supposed to be talking over him.
Oh, they're trying to clothesline him with a flight call.
Much as I gotta add in the pre-match assault sin, I want to also note that it was humorous to see Sergeant Slaughter and General Adnan try to attack Ultimate Warrior only to miss twice while Warrior's music was still playing. But of course, the pre-match assault when Warrior struck. Flag defamation. Even though there's a war going on and Sergeant Slaughter also did the same thing to the American flag, the sin goes to two wrongs not making a right. General Adnan takes one hit from the Ultimate Warrior and practically told Sergeant Slaughter, "You're on your own, dude. I'm out of here. Peace." Makes one wonder how Slaughter still hung around with the General after this. Warrior is clearly using an illegal weapon against Slaughter in full view of the referee's eyes in the ring and somehow is not getting disqualified. Gorilla Monsoon hopes Sergeant Slaughter will die. This match just turned extremely dark. Jesus, let's all settle down here. Where the fuck did Sensational Sherry come from? She was nowhere to be found when the match began, but there she is now. Ultimate Warrior wasting all the time in the world chasing Sherry from ringside when he should be focusing on Sergeant Slaughter in the ring. Also, isn't Ultimate Warrior supposed to be extremely fast? How the hell is Sensational Sherry managing to outrun him? She doesn't even have a major head start on him. I'm just saying, was this match ever changed to a no disqualification match? Because if so, that should have been announced ahead of time. Why is the referee allowing weapons to be used and outside interference to attack the legal competitors without consequence?
I don't think the referee saw any of that.
Actually, the referee did see the interference, but let's just assume Slaughter was distracting him for a good 2 minutes without him turning around even once, because that is totally how referees operate in WWF. Sergeant Slaughter just stands around and allows Warrior to get counted out when he should be trying to get Warrior back into the ring, unless the rules of the match also change to titles can change hands via countout and shut your fucking mouth if you even dare to question us. Sergeant Slaughter grew conscious and realized that he can't win the WWF Championship via countout, so he distracted the referee again to stop the count. Here's the sin. When the referee goes back to counting Warrior, he starts over from 1, when he should be continuing from 6, the number he was at earlier. The count only restarts when a wrestler leaves the ring or goes back in just to leave again. Also, why doesn't Slaughter just leave the ring and get to Warrior himself if he's so concerned about a potential countout?
I believe he could have had the pin right there, Hot Rod.
Not really. Ultimate Warrior was underneath the ropes anyway, so there was no way Sergeant Slaughter was going to be able to pin him there. If you want me to believe that the referee has no ring awareness and doesn't realize how close both wrestlers are to the ropes, then you're wrong there. This is absolutely ridiculous that it doesn't register to him that Ultimate Warrior is in a position where his legs are obviously extended to the point where the referee should check to make sure they're not out of bounds. Here are 5 more sins. If one chooses to release his opponent because he's distracted by someone yelling at him from the ring apron, that someone deserves to lose his championship. Sorry, but Ultimate Warrior chose to release Sergeant Slaughter, which allowed Slaughter to win the title, so Warrior deserved this. Victory due to outside interference is always a sin.
The referee, thanks to Slaughter.
This is more awkward when you realize Coco Beware is ready for his match against the Mountie and the commentators are talking about Sergeant Slaughter's WWF title win instead. Probably should have waited a bit just to let the heat wear down. Here you go, get a nice close-up of Jimmy Hart's megaphone. I don't know why we chose to zoom in on it, but embrace the view, damn it.
Now up to the officials of the WWF, and I do believe
WWE Network censors Roddy Piper saying WWF here. That would normally be understandable because of the World Wildlife Foundation, but they only censor Roddy saying it here, while everyone else who says it during this event is free to say it uncensored. Honestly, what was the Mountie's plan here? Keep jumping over Coco Beware until the end of time?
men. Oh, look at this.
Coco Beware is lucky that this wasn't the Royal Rumble match when that happened. Otherwise, it could have turned into one of the coolest ways someone gets eliminated. But anyways.
Oh.
Poor choice of camera work if you ask me.
Frankie.
I would have totally removed 5 sins right now if Frankie suddenly told Jimmy Hart to fuck off from all the taunting. Mountie landed a little late from Coco's missile dropkick. I've rolled my eyes several times throughout the show, but thankfully I didn't need to bring out the gauntlet like the last one.
You cannot pin somebody unless you grab that leg.
Roddy Piper claims that you can't pin someone without hooking a leg, even though wrestlers have done that hundreds of times over the years, even during this era.
Not on your trail.
You mean to tell me that Ultimate Warrior waited a full 15 minutes before figuring Randy Savage was hiding in his locker room?
No one should be standing between the Macho King and the Ultimate Warrior.
Like I'm doing right now.
I, Sergeant Slaughter.
In that one single sentence, Sergeant Slaughter used the phrase, I, Sergeant Slaughter, like 5 to 6 times. I'm pretty sure we know your name by now.
Prove that to everyone in the...
Alright, I'm taking a sin off for Roddy Piper being so mad that he accidentally caused his headset to fall off. That was funny.
We're gonna hear something from some of the participants.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's not a single bit of wrestling action for about 20 minutes due to multiple interviews and pre-Royal Rumble segments involving the participants, just like in 1990.
I'm by far the greatest
greatest athlete ever produced.
I am the greatest athlete in the entire history of this business cliche. There's an endless line of wrestlers who say that as a catchphrase. Virgil's I cannot believe this dude ditched me at a highway rest stop as a prank only to come back for me because I was holding his money face.
The doo-doo off your boots? I would not do that for money. And I think...
Roddy Piper is fucking hilarious on commentary. Claims he would never wipe dog crap off of anybody's feet for any kind of money, only to realize money talks.
Hey, Emily.
What are the odds that Dusty Rhodes saw Virgil rip Ted DiBiase's pants off, then approached Dustin Rhodes to do the same thing to him? Maybe that's why Virgil and Ted quickly ran toward them, to make sure no sudden nudity would occur on this event.
Son, and watching his...
Knowing how sensitive referees are in professional wrestling, I'm actually shocked this one wasn't knocked over from the slight little collision.
By the $1 million bland and a...
The $1 million bland. Jeez, that's just harsh. Dusty Rhodes is concerned about his son, but ends up causing the referee to be distracted, which allows Virgil to inflict more punishment on Dustin. Wrestler accidentally hits his own partner in a double team maneuver gone wrong cliche. The moment Dustin Rhodes' head was up in the air like that, I knew that was coming. It was apparently too impossible for Dusty Rhodes to simply roll his arm to the side, which would have brought up his shoulder and stopped the count. In a way, Ted DiBiase speaks on behalf of me too, because without the payment, I'm not interested in time being wasted because we got the Royal Rumble match up next. Finally! Gotta love that moment when the bully gets his comeuppance after the longest time of abuse.
Gonna be just like, what, brother?
I know exactly what...
Hulk Hogan forgetting his lines was funny, but what made it even more hilarious was both he and Gene Okerlund just rolled with it. Also, on the subject of Sergeant Slaughter, Hulk Hogan conveniently is named the #1 contender for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 7 as a result of winning the Royal Rumble match. Has me think if the title opportunity was given 2 years before the official ruling was made. What's the explanation there? What do you bet Bret the Hitman Hart is thinking, seriously, #1 again? This didn't help me out in the first Rumble 3 years ago.
Then we'll hear a buzzer or a bell.
Could you imagine if they used a bell at the timekeeper's desk for every entrant in the Royal Rumble match? It would have the wrestlers in the ring think the match is over, then realize someone else is just showing up, and then it repeat 28 more times.
You're gonna have to save your gas.
Dino Bravo looked like he tried to climb over the top rope. It's as if he wanted to eliminate himself on purpose early on.
Go, Hart, go!
Bret Hart has the chance to eliminate Dino Bravo, but chooses to hook the leg the wrong way. You're supposed to put your arm underneath the leg, not over it. Putting it over the leg just makes Dino get back in the ring.
And he can hammer.
Yes, Roddy, that's kind of why his name is Greg the Hammer Valentine. I seriously hope there's not puns for every single entrant tonight.
The hammer's one of these...
Judging from earlier, I think Dino Bravo wanted to be eliminated first anyway, so everybody wins here. Jimmy Hart always gets tossed around all over the ring cliche. Brett, you may want to watch how you're hanging on to Greg Valentine, because this is not exactly a comfortable sight to be beholding. What in the hell is Greg Valentine thinking? The worst strategy in the Royal Rumble next to ascending to the top rope is breaking up eliminations, and Greg has no alliance with Paul Roma here, so why bother saving him? I don't know if that was the result of the Texas Tornado's punch, or if Greg Valentine had one too many drinks prior to entering the match.
Oh, look at this! And which one, Gorilla?
Roddy Piper once again would be great at CinemaSins 2 expansion. When you got a camera view showing practically every bit of action, you should really be more specific on who you want our attention on.
It's every man for himself.
If I have to hear that line one more time tonight, I swear to God. Obviously, the intention was to clothesline Rick Martel over the top rope to eliminate him, but the way he landed from Paul Roma's clothesline was not realistic. Perhaps the Texas Tornado could get Rick Martel eliminated if he was, I don't know, not pulling his legs back down to protect him from going out.
I don't see Saba Simba. Where is he?
Are you serious right now? Saba Simba got eliminated in plain view of the camera for everyone to see, and Gorilla Monsoon doesn't know what happened to him?
The bushwhacker puts his head in the turnbuckle.
Why are the referees counting? There are no disqualifications or countouts in a Royal Rumble match, and even back in the day, there wasn't any rule about wrestlers being in danger of disqualification if they're outside the ring for too long in these matches.
Looks like he's coming to stay.
Well, yeah, wouldn't that be the point when it comes to the Royal Rumble match, Roddy? Why would Undertaker come just to eliminate a few guys and then leave?
Superfly.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka was halfway to the ring before Gorilla Monsoon realized he was supposed to say who's entering the match next. Probably still wondering what happened to Saba Simba. This asshole. Paul Roma is trying to eliminate Jake Roberts, but doesn't realize that Jake went underneath the top rope, not over it. So if he successfully knocks him to the floor, it won't count as an elimination. All that effort for nothing.
Hey, it's a rumble.
First, Roddy Piper complains about Rick Martel eliminating Jake Roberts from the apron by calling him a cheater. Then literally 3 seconds later, he brushes it off and says, hey, it's a Royal Rumble, anything goes. He sure changed his point of view very fast.
I think Tornado's gone and Superfly's gone.
But what about Saba Simba? What happened to him? So the 18th entrant was supposed to be Macho Man Randy Savage, but he no-showed because he's still running away from the Ultimate Warrior. I won't lie, it would have been better if Randy still competed in the Rumble match only for Warrior to cost him the match in retaliation for what happened earlier. And what's worse about it, WWF doesn't even acknowledge who the 18th entrant was supposed to be until we stop caring, and the fans never understand a single thing that happened, which made their experience of the Royal Rumble even worse. Shame. Maybe the Legion of Doom would have more luck in double teaming The Undertaker if their punches were actually connecting with him instead of hitting the air non-stop.
It's crush of demolition, and he starts crushing immediately.
You were doing good, and then you immediately went straight for the bones, really crushing my soul. I mean, fuck. I think Rick Martel was enjoying being almost eliminated way too much.
You got that right.
None of Shane Douglas's punches are even connected with Paul Roma, so no wonder he isn't reacting to them. It just looks like Shane is trying to entertain Paul with his dance moves than he is trying to eliminate him from the Royal Rumble match. Overly dramatic flip from being thrown into the corner is overly dramatic. Was that even necessary? Knowing how powerful Hulk Hogan is and the fact that he's the winner of last year's Royal Rumble, I'm actually shocked that everyone in the ring hasn't tried to eliminate him at the same time to prevent a repeat. But alas, a repeat happens.
On the ringside, Colonel.
Perhaps the most hilarious elimination in Royal Rumble history when Bushwhacker Lou gets thrown out within 4 seconds and continues to bushwhack his way to the backstage area without a care in the world. I'm taking off 10 sins for that.
Brian Knobbs of the Nasty Boys.
That was a weird situation right there. Brian Knobbs tries to attack Mr. Perfect, who simply backs away, and then Brian collapses like he was drunk. Hercules just got eliminated by Brian Knobbs, but neither Gorilla Monsoon nor Roddy Piper seems to give a shit. I bet Gorilla still wonders what happened to Saba Simba.
I can't figure it.
Since Jim Neidhart missed Mr. Perfect in that elimination attempt, I assume Perfect just wanted to show off that he can get thrown over the top rope and slide back in with ease. Tugboat has Rick Martel in the air prone for elimination, but chooses to simply choke him and tease an elimination, which allows Rick to rake his eyes and escape. Hate it when wrestlers do that.
Hey, they know you with the Royal Rumble.
Damn. You gonna react to what just happened? British Bulldog hit a picture perfect standing dropkick on Mr. Perfect, who fell out of the ring and got eliminated. Nothing? No reaction to that move? Let me guess, still enjoying what Hulk Hogan is doing since he's obviously winning the match? Well, screw you then.
Come on. Yeah!
Hulk Hogan is cool and all during this period, but even his no-selling just a Hulk up has gotten pretty stale by now.